Feel the rhythm? It's Jamaican pride representing for CCN World TV News. It's CCN World TV News.
Today, we're discussing a topic that has been generating a lot of conversation online involving Apostle Kereen Johnson and the allegations surrounding her relationship with a man who was reportedly experiencing difficulties in his marriage. Before we begin, I want to make it clear that these are allegations and public claims that have been discussed online and in interviews. Everyone involved has their own version of events, and this video is being presented as commentary and opinion. Now, according to Apostle Johnson, the man initially came to her seeking guidance and counseling because he was having marital problems. As someone in ministry, that's not unusual. Pastors, apostles, church leaders often counsel people who are going through difficult seasons in life. However, this is where things become complicated. According to Apostle Johnson's account, feelings eventually developed between the two of them. She has maintained that this did not happen while the husband and wife were still together. That is her position. But even if we accept that explanation, many people are still asking whether the situation should have been handled differently from the beginning. And honestly, that's the question I keep asking myself. At what point should a minister recognize that a counseling relationship is becoming too personal? At what point should boundaries be established? At what point should professional counseling or another church leader become involved? Because when emotions become involved, things can move quickly. In my opinion, the moment either party realized that there were feelings being developed, they should have been signaled to step back. Not because anyone had done something wrong at that point. Not because a relationship would automatically be inappropriate, but because protecting everyone involved should have been the priority. The husband needed guidance, the wife deserved respect, and the ministry itself needed protection from controversy. Sometimes, doing the right thing means removing yourself from a situation before it becomes a problem. Now, let's talk about the interview itself. One thing that stood out to me was not necessarily what Apostle Johnson said, but how some of it was communicated. As an apostle, people naturally hold you to a higher standard. Whether that's fair or unfair is another discussion. But the reality is that people expect spiritual leaders to respond differently when facing criticism. Even when someone is upset, even when accusations are being made, even when emotions are running high, people expect a certain level of restraint, a certain level of wisdom, a certain level of grace. And while I understand that interviews can become heated and that nobody enjoys being accused of wrongdoing, I still believe there were moments where the conversation could have been handled differently because perception matters. Whether we like it or not, perception matters. For example, one of the issues that generated discussion online involved photographs. Now, Apostle Johnson explained her side of the story, but many viewers looked at the situation differently. The average person sees a photograph and immediately starts drawing conclusions. That's just human nature. If a wife sees another woman taking pictures with her husband, especially during a period of marital difficulty, what do you think she's going to believe? What do you think she's going to assume? Whether those assumptions are correct or not is a different matter. The point is that the optics don't look good, and leaders have to be aware of optics. Sometimes something can be completely innocent and still create problems because of how it appears to others. That's why boundaries are important. That's why transparency is important. That's why accountability is important. And this isn't just about Apostle Johnson. This applies to pastors, it applies to counselors, it applies to mentors, it applies to anyone in a position of influence. When someone comes to you vulnerable, hurting and looking for guidance, there has to be clear boundaries. Otherwise, situations can become complicated very quickly. Now, another thing I want to point out is that there are always multiple sides to every story. We have heard from Apostle Johnson. We have heard from the man involved. And naturally, everyone sees events through their own experiences and emotions. That's why I always encourage viewers to listen carefully and think critically. Don't just follow public opinion. Don't just follow what is trending. Listen to all sides, examine the facts, and then make your own conclusions. Because social media has a way of turning complex situations into simple headlines. But real life is rarely that simple. What we do know is that this situation has sparked an important conversation about ministry ethics, counseling relationships, boundaries, and accountability. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson in all of this. Whether you support Apostle Johnson or whether you disagree with her actions, I think most people can agree that situations like these require extreme caution. When people are hurting emotionally, decisions become more sensitive. When marriages are struggling, emotions become more tense. And when spiritual leaders become involved, the responsibility becomes even greater. So, moving forward, I hope everyone involved can find peace. I hope lessons can be learned, and I hope this situation serves as a reminder to ministers, counselors, and leaders everywhere about the importance of maintaining healthy boundaries. But what do you think? Do you believe Apostle Kereen Johnson handled the situation correctly? Or do you think different decisions should have been made along the way? Let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this commentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Turn on post notifications for more updates right here on CCN World TV News. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.